Well, good morning. You're watching Morning at NTV, and it's time to take note. And 54% of goods on the market are substandard. You're thinking 54%, that's a lot, but maybe I don't use that many products that are Ugandan. No, even the stuff that's not made in Uganda is actually also substandard. To discuss, yes, the first CEO structured dialogue, but first the work of the Anti-Counterfeit Network is the Director of Legal and Corporate Affairs at SCN, which is the Anti-Counterfeit Network Uganda, Fred Mwema.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm happy to be here.
Yes. I think this year, probably a bit of last year, is when the Anti-Counterfeit Network became so loud in their work. You can't tell me this company is like a year old or two.
No, actually, we have been, personally, I've been involved in fighting fakes and counterfeits for 12 years now.
12.
But the Anti-Counterfeit Network, which is bringing together different professionals, communication experts, doctors, and so on, is now going to enter the, this is second year, going into the third.
Okay.
But the problem has been there since,
Longer.
and we are only tackling it in a different way. Because as a lawyer, my understanding always was legal enforcement, arrest, detention, destruction. But then there's an element of communication, awareness, because you will not succeed in any campaign if there is no aspect of behavior change to make the people understand the problem so that they buy into the solutions that you're trying to offer.
So when you started saying that SCN is 2 years thereabout, but you have been in this for a long time.
Yes.
And what's the biggest challenge? Because I'm assuming you've said communication is very important.
Yes.
Because now there's someone is going to come in and say it's enforcement. Someone else will come and say it's the cost. You know, some are producing substandard because it's cheaper. So what's the biggest problem? Is it us, the consumers, don't know? Is it that someone is fighting, you know, high costs? Is it enforcement end?
I think the major problems may be three of them. Okay. The first one, of course, starts with the consumer.
Yes.
We have the perceptive and non-perceptive consumption of fake products. There are people who buy when they do not know. And they will actually, very many of them, and they will actually buy a product at a premium, thinking it's the genuine thing, it's the branded good, and you know, we have that consumerism now. Everybody likes that branded item.
Yes.
So the fake guys also come in there, and you know, they cheat the ladies.
Especially
and everybody.
Us ladies, that's true.
Okay. So then there is there are those who buy when they know that this is not the perfect tire, but it's 50% cheaper. Let me go for this. I'll be able to drive to Masaka and for some 3 months. And unfortunately, many of them end up with fatalities and accidents. So the consumer awareness is a big problem, and perception.
Yes.
We have also a regulatory problem. There isn't sufficient regulatory infrastructure. If you look at the UNBS, you've just referred to a report.
Yes.
54%. But you should be asking yourself, what is the reach of the UNBS? If we have 20 border posts or entry points in Uganda, at what stations, how many of them is UNBS at? It's not more than 5. So if they are saying 54% going through the 5 entry points that they are monitoring, supposing they were monitoring everything,
the problem would be bigger?
The problem would be bigger. Okay. So there is a challenge. The budget they have is not sufficient. They do not have enough legal manpower. They do not have enough vehicles. They do not have labs. We have one lab, for example, in respect of cement for the whole country. It takes maybe a month or so to just test one sample. So you can imagine if you got from all the parts of the country 10 samples of cement, it would take them about a whole year
just
to test. So that is the second problem. Regulatory.
Yeah.
But I think the third one, which is connected to those ones as well, is enforcement.
Yeah.
We have some laws. Like today I saw in the papers, somebody was saying we don't have laws to fight the fakes or the counterfeits, or the punishments are not enough. That may be true up to a point. But the question I always ask, if we have a law which says that a counterfeiter can be jailed for 2 to 5 years, how many people do we have in jail, even for 1 month, for faking a cosmetic or selling fake medicine? We don't have any. So before you clamor for bigger punishments of 50 years or death penalty, why don't you utilize the current law, which is saying 2 years, or which is saying a fine of $1 million or a fine of 2 or 3 million. So the lack of enforcement is also a very big problem.
Okay, so let's, you said UNBS. I had UNBS here talking about food standards specifically, because there's a lot of fake, and this is something that's going into our bodies, which we need to be careful about. And they said the same thing pretty much what you just said. They said we don't have enough people everywhere. We don't have eyes and ears everywhere. So because of that, a lot is going under the radar. Stuff is happening that we're not able to see and know. Now, I don't see us getting there to a point where we have regulation happening in an ideal way in the next 3 years.
That is why.
2 years, 5 years. It's not going to happen.
No, it can happen. That is why we have the first CEO structured dialogue, to have the CEOs of these brands, local and international, to have the accounting officers from the regulatory bodies, the executive directors, to have representation from the development partners. They are all coming. This is the first kind of dialogue of its kind anywhere on the continent of Africa.
Before you tell us who is involved in that dialogue, I want to know what's the thought behind it. You're trying to explain that and say that if we have people who run the organizations that ideally deal in this, or run the organizations that should be accountable for counterfeit, or were affected, I guess, by counterfeit. If they are talking to us, if they tell us what problems they face, what issues they face, perhaps we can better understand this. And of course, later on also, I want to understand the chain in counterfeit. By the time it trickles down to you and I, you know, who get these products, and sometimes choose cheapest, thinking cheapest is actually good for us. That might be a conversation later on, but I want to go back to the CEO structured dialogue. Why CEOs? Because I feel like they're at the top, yes, as much as they make decisions. Are they actually dealing in this? What informed your decision to deal with just the CEOs? Or is it CEOs plus other
You just said it. The CEOs are the guys who, or
make
the persons
decisions?
who make decisions.
Yes.
On which way the company will be going.
Yes.
They are the people who will make a decision that we invest in this brand, this is the packaging, this is how we advertise, this is how we push the sales. They are the people who will direct what message should be sent out to the consumers. They are the people who will decide that let's have a consumer awareness week to help Flavia to differentiate between this lipstick and the other one, and tell them the characteristics of what is genuine and so on. Because many times what we have seen is that many brand owners are shy to tell you actually that there's a problem. They will advertise their genuine product, and by promoting the genuine product,
and hope
they are also promoting the fake.
Yes.
Because the moment you put that detergent there, this is the genuine, the fake guy will also come. So by
but also, Fred, you know that sometimes you can't really sometimes tell the difference.
Of course. Now you need a CEO to buy in the campaign to help the consumers differentiate between genuine and fake. Is there a hologram? Where do you find the expiry date? What is the color of the packaging? What are the ingredients, active ingredients that you know? The CEOs are the people who can make that decision. So by having them in a room, and moreover, we are not talking about CEOs of one particular product. We're going to have
so it's not just food products, skincare, it's
every product will be represented. Of course, you cannot have everything in 100 CEOs, which is our target. But we think that this is going to be the first step in getting the right conversation in the boardrooms, the right conversation to say this is also an important issue. The problem always has been counterfeits is always looked at as a sub-issue. You'll see a government project like Bubu, Buy Uganda, Build Uganda. But you don't hear anything on counterfeits in that. It is a small side issue. You're not going to be able to promote trade. You're not going to be able to attract foreign direct investment if whatever is manufactured here or is imported here is fake. Because then the investor does not get a return on their money if their product gets stolen. But also, too, you, the consumer, if you are going to fall sick, whatever government program has for me and you to participate, if we are sick because we took contaminated milk or you used some lotion that made you sick, the economic output, your economic output of sitting here today will be diminished because you'll not be able to work for the whole month. You take time off because you're sick. So without a productive society, a healthy people, there is no program that can thrive. No product will be sold to dead people. No government program will be run by ghosts. You need healthy living people to run these programs.
I've seen the Anti-Counterfeit Network show. Is it Don't Be Fake?
Yes.
And they're telling us consumers to read instructions or read what's on the package. If I'm buying a face cream, moisturizer, I need to read. See, Build Uganda, is it? Buy Uganda, Build Uganda. Let's stay on there, because there's a lot of products that are made by Ugandans here in Uganda. And I get to the market, yes, they're cheaper than, you know, the Mzungu product. And you look at it, and I'm not sure at what point you want me to hold them accountable. Do you want me to look for where their factory is? Because I was reading a bottle of what they call toner for ladies. It should ideally be just water made out of something. And there were 3 ingredients written on the paper at the back, and just 3, 1, 2, 3. And then the address was not really the factory or where it was made. And I was reading it, even I thought, okay, what happens then? If I've read this and even I'm worried a bit, what happens? So I want to ask, in terms of accountability, what a consumer like me, that just one person like this, what kind of difference I can make? Because I've read that, I suspect something might be going on.
Did you use the product?
No. But then I suspected something might be off. It might look like just a paper they plastered onto a bottle, they just put something in. So what can one consumer who's watching make? Because I might feel like, oh, this is let me put it there, one to the others.
Of course, that is the problem,
because
we do not have a collective awareness.
Yes.
Forget the self-awareness, but collective. So that's why you will see a product which is suspicious and just leave it there.
Yes.
What we are doing now is to sensitize people to say, look, don't leave it on the shelf. If you find it has something scribbled, the name of the mark is not clear.
It says expiry, but doesn't put the date.
At the first level, take the issue with the owner of the supermarket or whatever it is. Take a picture of it, share the information with us. We're taking on a lot of those cases in public interest, where if there is a product, especially where it has been used and is found to be fake, we take the manufacturer, the retailer on. There's a case we're doing now involving a South African brand where some kid ate some cereals and they got affected, and we're taking it on. Because
but is it the supermarket or is the product?
The liability spreads from the manufacturer. If the manufacturer manufactured the product with contamination, they have liability.
Yes.
If it's a fake manufacturer and is not the owner of the trademark or the brand and faked, he's also liable. But also in terms of distribution, you become liable if you also participate in the conveyance of this fake product to you,
and
for
you put
example,
it on your shelves.
And you put it on your shelf. There is that ownership that you take of the safety of the product to a limit. But a lot of the liability will be faced with the manufacturer. And what the CEO dialogue will be doing here, like in Uganda, we don't have a consumer protection law. It is the law that would really ensure product liability for some of these guys. These are some of the things that we would like to push, legislation. We would like to ensure that one of the resolutions that comes out of this dialogue is that we should have these laws in place. If the law has been sitting in Parliament for the last 5 years, out of the dialogue, we're going to push it to ensure that the consumers have got a platform by which to be protected.
Okay, let me ask about, of course, I want you to tell us, you said 100 CEO is the target?
Yes.
Target, you've achieved it? Not yet?
No, I think we have the numbers.
Okay.
Yes. We have many who are flying in, and then the host of them are local. We have representation from the Anti-Counterfeit Agency of Kenya, the Kenya manufacturers, a few will be coming in, some guys from Nigeria and so on, but the majority are local, yes.
See, if I'm working for a company that produces substandard goods, and I'm part of the chain, you know, somehow.
You're part of the criminal activity. That's what you should say. Yes.
Trust a lawyer to just throw these things out there. Yes, I'm part of the criminal activity.
Yes.
But you're calling my CEO to come and be part of this structured dialogue to discuss the way forward.
If we call everyone, we need to have Nambole. To have all the workers and the CEOs.
It's okay.
But this is
you call my CEO,
yes.
But then where's my part? Do I come out and, because I could lose a job, to come out and say something, because there are people who are working for organizations or companies that are putting out products which by all means are substandard. And the person who works there will even tell you in the Sibinywa, but you guys.
I think what is going to happen is Rome wasn't built in a day. We're taking the first baby step to ensure that we raise the consciousness, and out of that we do a follow-up. You know, the difference between what we are doing and the other conferences and so on
dialogue,
is that you're going to have a custodian, in this case, a custodian of the resolutions and the actions that need to be taken. A lot of conferences and meetings that are held, people will meet, make nice speeches, and everybody goes home. And the situation remains the same. But here, you have civil society organization like us that is really being the flag bearer of, and the vision bearer for this action and following up. We actually do follow up things. We don't just talk. So if we are going to have in the room UNBS, we're going to have customs there, and certain things are agreed, we shall keep pushing to ensure that these targets are achieved. And remember, all these regulators, all these bodies, all these brands have not until now had one platform to coordinate. In the past, customs will do whatever it has to do, police does what it wants to do, judiciary does, and then there's no coordination. So in the process, we have been losing the fight against the fakes because we have not been coordinated. So this is a coordination platform that should provide a united front to help us to fight the fakes. And we believe we shall be able to reduce the incidence of counterfeiting by a considerable margin.
Is that the target for this?
Yeah, I think we should be, in the next 5 years, we should reduce it by half. Once the consciousness, and you see these days in the media, you're reporting every other day that we have fakes, we have
this
fakes.
Product,
so it helps. It helps, yeah.
All right. So that's the first CEO structured dialogue on counterfeits. It will be happening Serena here.
Serena, yes.
Yes, and of course NTV is a partner in this, and it'll be live here. And there'll be hashtags. Of course, you can follow SCN, which is the Anti-Counterfeit Network, and the NTV to get details on that. But just before I let you go, you said there were a target of 100 CEOs. You said there's also many other stakeholders that will be invited. You said customs, so URA is there. You said judiciary.
Yes.
Wait, so when you have all these important people in the one room, who's sort of guest of honor? Who leads the conversation?
Well, I think the conversation will be led by the head of the judiciary, because there's a misconception that you know, we don't have law, and actually some people wonder whether we have any law whatsoever, considering the way counterfeits are
moving
like
into the
it's
country.
done officially. Everybody thinks so. That is going to be very, very important, that we have a keynote address, a reassurance from the judiciary to explain what is the position of the law. Is it that we have a free reign for people to sell fakes and kill us the way they want, or we have actually law? So I think there is a need to be strengthening the enforcement, the implementation of the law, which actually we have, but that does not mean that we do not need to enhance or improve, realign our laws. Yes, we do. Like anything else that is dynamic, you need to keep on improving. And we think that after this conference, after the resolutions are made, we should see a better regime for managing counterfeits and fake products.
That's good. Not, I would say ambitious, but it's not. I think it's achievable.
It is achievable.
Yes, that's Fred Mwema, the Director of Legal and Corporate Affairs at the Anti-Counterfeit Network. This Thursday, the 16th of August, from 7 a.m. to noon, will be the first ever CEO structured dialogue on counterfeits. Will be live here on NTV, so you can be part of it. Why CEOs? They're the decision makers, so you want to have them in one room and see where their mind is and what their stand is on counterfeits, and how, of course, to go forward from this. That's it for Morning at NTV. Good morning.